Welcome in to the new members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. In this morning's update, we're going to talk about a continuation of what we were speaking of yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a live yesterday because my son is sick. He still is sick, my 4-year-old. So we'll see how it goes today, but I wanted to get this morning update out and just go from there and see what's going on in the overall market. So right now, we've had a bullish reversal here in most of the market. Bitcoin reversed up to 61,700. We talked a lot yesterday about the fact that XRP could be looking at about a 15% reversal to 60 cent range. The first resistance we needed to get over was 52.4 cents. And then the second area we need to push past is 54.07 cents to help validate a move up to that roughly 60 cent mark, which would be the mid-tier handle resistance. Right now we're looking pretty good. I'm outside and it just started raining, so we're gonna have to deal with the rain here. But I wanted to do this outside because, like I said, my son's sick and he's sleeping, so I didn't want to wake him up doing the update. So I really didn't have any choice but to come outside. So right now the market's looking pretty good. We've got, like I said, Bitcoin's up 2,600 points, up 4.45%. We've got XRP only up 1.14%, which is the main reason as well why I said, we topped out, we were close enough, and that's why I said I got rid of the XRP Bitcoin pairing at 898. It was a spectacular run. It didn't hit all the way up to the 907, nor did it fill out the entirety of the move so far. But when you're doing swing trades, that's why I thought it was appropriate to get out here. It's had a 5.95 correction, and from the point of entry from the audience, it was up almost about 10%. I ended up getting about 11.4% from, but anyhow, that's not important. So that's why we were so critical of, hey, we've hit that point where it's in the area of range, and it was a good time to let it go. So now you can wait, see if it consolidates, or if you're still in it and you feel like it's going to continue that move, the technical target, you add on to it, or you just sit patient. But I like to take profits. I like to do what I got to do on a swing trade scenario and then move on to bigger and better things. So speaking of bigger and better things, we've got XLM that looks like it could be also teasing a breakout as well. And it's been a few days now. It's on the outside of this descending consolidation. Let's move away from here because getting a little wet. But we have this descending consolidation. And right now, XLM, if it does have this breakout, you'd be looking at something right around, what is that, the 11.35 cent mark. 11.35 cent mark. So that's what I'd be looking for with XLM. I do think it's built up. It's undervalued right now, and I believe that it's in a really good spot here with what Bitcoin's doing. Assuming we can break out past this 11.35 mark, we could be on our way to a little bit of a rally here for XLM. It's been overdue. It's been overdue, and honestly, it wouldn't be that surprising if something like that plays out. But we do have to get past this first resistance at 11.35 cents. So pay attention to that if you're a fan of XLM. With XRP as well, the good news here is we're past and we've held, and looks like we could have put in an inverse head and shoulders like we've talked about very sneakily. And we're within that cup and handle support now. And this is very important for the overall dynamics of this pattern. And as we can see here, firmly within this cup and handle support. In fact, we could, in the weekly time frame, if that hit the bottoming now, if we bottom in the weekly, we've still got time in this weekly, and if we have a nice little push here, we can put a reversal candle in here very sneakily, or just come up to like that 54 cent mark. But we could reverse this candle, and this could just be another wick outside. And again, we would have failed to reverse this pattern to the downside, because as long as you're within the cup and handle formation, you're very bullish. Very, very bullish. Once you break down out of it and then it gets confirmation, that's when it can become a very dangerous game here. So right now though, XRP is still within bullish territory, so we must pay attention to that. Another one that is very intriguing to me, as I did take a little bit of a leverage trade on this one, but I'm not going to really talk about it. Casper's just so undervalued right now, and it's got a technical breakout. It's pushed past this consolidation. It's got a technical move building up at minimum to 3197, assuming it plays true. We had a beautiful consolidation overnight, had a beautiful wick down this morning, went down to around 2. There was a big sell here that happened during a candle here that brought it down all the way to 290, and that was around 7:30. But then recently there was another one that brought it down to like the 294 area, and that was just about an hour ago. So there's been a lot of volatility, but I happen to like where Casper's at in this part of the pattern, and it looks like to me it could be teasing a breakout. So if you're a fan of Casper and you've been accumulating, now would be the time to see how this plays out. Nice V-shaped recovery, and it really does look like there could be like 7 to 8% over the top here before we have to make any kind of decision. I would say in real terms this could get invalidated if you came down below that 2904 level, but there's a lot of room to work here right now for Casper. It's exciting too. DGB, as we've talked about, had a healthy position on DGB, and it's working out pretty nicely right now. DGB's technical target is 1133. We talked about this yesterday. It had the breakout, and a lot of them like Casper, XLM are starting to make this move now, it looks like. Beautiful V-shaped recovery here for DGB, and there could be a lot more left over the top. If we could break this short-term resistance at 1133, we really could start pushing up to like the 1.2 cent mark, which is another about 6% move. It could do this really rapidly if we can break out. But I'm showing a lot of the ones that we talk about and the ones that we own personally or the community owns as well, because they're important. XDC as well as another one was in a nice spot. One of the last lives I did, we talked about, and I asked everybody, do you see what I'm seeing here? And it was at about 3.4 cents. And now it's pushing up to that technical move was up to 3.61 cents. And now, again, if it gets on top of this, you can start making these nicer moves here, like 3.7, maybe even back to the drop point at 3.88 cents. So we are on the verge right now in the crypto market of doing more than just back testing the drops. We're trying to reverse these drops. So fan of XDC as well. It's looking pretty good here on this movement. That short-term breakout needed to happen, and now it's looking pretty bullish out of here. I'm not going to redo the chart just yet. Just make sure that it breaks and holds as it's 3.61 cents before you get overzealous. And just like with Bitcoin, it's had a big run up 4.24% to 61,565. It's been a beautiful push this morning. It's been within rotation. If it held, and we've talked about this so many times, I feel like my head's going to explode, but it's been necessary. The technical target down was 51,257. The only way to not have that happen was to hold the broadening wedge support, which used to be resistance, at around 57,000 area. It came through to 56,600, pulled back up to 58,300 and bounced effectively. And now it's held that broadening wedge. Now, to confirm this hold, you need to get back up to not just 65,255. You got to get back over the top here and start pushing 85,000. I know it seems crazy, but you're in a very interesting spot here. And we could have reversed this pattern if we hold this and now start pushing. We're going to have room here as the day goes on to have a continuation here. It's just a matter of, is there enough support from the broader market to push another reversal here and push it over the top is what I mean. So right now though, if you're looking at crypto and you're looking for a rally, this is what we wanted. So with that being said, I'm going to do the intro very quickly. We're not done yet. We're about halfway through this update. I appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch my content. I appreciate the fact that so many of you do show up and show me that support. And please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube will recommend this update. It will really greatly help push my content, as it's the only way to push my content through the algorithm and make it pop up on the YouTube news feed is by you hitting that like button. So with that being said, good morning. 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, May 3rd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So once again, I thank everybody for tuning in. I don't know if I'll be live this evening or not because my son is still sick. He didn't throw up yesterday, but he was gagging a little bit, and he hasn't had an appetite for the last 2 days. So, there could be a doctor in his future. I know Julie's going to do a virtual thing with the urgent care because he doesn't have a fever or anything. So, but, trying to get a opinion from, Julie likes to get the opinion. So we'll see what they say. But with no fever, there's not much they're going to be able to do. It's kind of one of those things where you got to let it run through. It's always uncomfortable to watch your kids not feel well. So that's what I'm dealing with here. So be patient with me the last couple days. I've seen a lot of interesting comments, but I think if everybody just watched the videos, they would understand why I haven't done everything I normally do. So with that being said, with XRP, we're looking for the first break of 52.4 cents. It's absolutely vital to break 52.4 cents. After that, the second resistance is 54 cents. So that's what we'll have to look out for. So those are the two areas we need to watch for XRP. If we get above that, we're back in the rising channel, and we would confirm the break back above. And then we could possibly push all the way back up to 68 cents. As you know, if you hunt support, get back to support, you hunt the resistance of the pattern. But we are in the cup and handle formation as well. So within the cup and handle formation, that could lead us with a pattern that right now we're firmly within. We've got this mid-tier area, which I don't want to keep this on here only because we have this already with the 54 cent mark. So that's going to supersede that because you do have to hit that. But then you could come back over the top to about 58.7 cents. This is what we were speaking of if you're part of the community yesterday. If not, we talked about the 508 and pushing back up to that mid-tier handle support, which we were a little bit above. We're at like 512, so it was about 15%. But the point is the totality of that move from the handle support to the mid-tier resistance is about 16.4%. And once you get over 54 cents, from a pattern perspective and like a mid-tier hold perspective, we don't have anything else really in our way. So this is what we need to do if you're a fan of XRP. And it looks like we have a nice descending consolidation. So I'm not really seeing much that's going to get in our way as long as we don't have an overall market correction to the downside. The US dollar initially was helping us as it tanked. And now it's trying to recover some of its losses, which is expected. But the US dollar had a pretty big drop today. So it went from 106.23 and at one point was all the way down to 104.51. So this could be the start of a death spiral by the dollar. Pay attention to commodities. Pay attention to gold and silver, because right now I believe every time it dips, it's a good opportunity, because at some point here next week we have B2 Gold has their they have earnings next week. So it's going to be the first time that the earnings is going to be, or the sales and everything is going to reflect the big surge in pricing with gold. So could be pretty interesting. Could be pretty interesting on that earnings announcement. So just be aware and be alert of that. And then with crypto, with the total crypto market cap up 3.27%, up to 2.216 trillion. We've added about 69.6 billion onto the market cap of all of crypto. And right now we had a very volatile swing up. It's been nothing short of spectacular today, which is nice to see. I'm not sure that, oh, there's the resistance. I was going to say, I know it's up here somewhere. But right now we've still got resistance at like the 2.282 trillion. So we'll put that back on there. And then if we can get over these areas, you can ladder up. You got 2.4. But then the next real pattern resistance, one, which is very important. Well, it's this mid-tier resistance right now at 2.28. But the very important resistance right now is getting back to the top. We held support in this rotation, the pattern. And one could argue that maybe it's like a, I don't know. I don't really like to argue and say what things are. But maybe that's like a pennant flag that forms some weird, like a bull flag consolidation when you look at it in the bigger terms. So we just don't know yet. It's too early. Could also be the start of a breakdown as we had a bearish cross here in the daily. But where it's at and positioning with the relative strength index, you could have just started a big breakthrough here. Look at the 4 hourly. That's a huge breakout candle. And now if we can get over that huge resistance area by about 2.28 trillion with the total crypto market cap, we could be looking at a much more sizable move here. Bitcoin's in that same exact rotation. And the funny thing is once we realized what Bitcoin was, now again, it's gotten deleted. But anybody who's watched knows what I'm going to put up. But we've watched before this fell down, and we talked about what if it was actually in a pennant flag consolidation, which, again, I have no idea what happened to, and I think it fell outside of it temporarily as well. I don't know what happened to this, but I always look at this. And sometimes I accidentally delete stuff. But everybody who watches knows how this was set up. So if it was a pennant flag consolidation instead of more like a bull flag, yeah, it fell outside of it, but that just told us we needed to consolidate at the broadening wedge. And now if it's more of like a pennant flag consolidation, it's holding it right now. Now you got to get past this mid-tier resistance again on this push up. First major area in the 2 hourly is going to be 63,000, followed by 65,500. And ultimately getting over 71,500 if we do push back. But right now, not even in our blind, that's like in our blind spot. Got to get over 63,000 and 65,500. XRP need to get over 52.4 cents and ultimately 54.07 cents to have a chance to make that run up to first 58.5 and ultimately maybe 68.8 cents. But there's still a lot to be determined here. So yeah, I know there was a lot in this update. Please make sure to pay attention to everything I'm saying. I'm going to wrap this up here in a minute. I want to go make sure my son's doing okay and, you know, just be present. So don't let your emotion dictate what's going on today. Allow yourself to focus on the patterns, focus on the charts, and don't make any rash decisions. Let them play out. Let everything play out as it should. Bitcoin is already up 2,400 points or better than 4.1%. So if you had bought something prior to these pushes up, well, there could be some appreciation obviously coming in the altcoins. So, you know, make sure you have your proper, you know, mindset. So when you're watching this, you're not making any emotional decisions. You're actually watching it from a technical standpoint. All I care about for XRP right now is it broke out of this. And now we should be able to make a technical move, hopefully, to that 54 cents for a showdown in that area. That would, to me, be the most likely scenario to play out here. The only way that this can't happen is if 52.4 cents continues to beat us down. Or, you know, if it just, we can't find the proper buyers to push past 52.4. But right now, I'd say we're in much more of a bullish bias than bearish. And it's a beautiful thing to see on this Friday. The last day of the actual trading week. Not for crypto, as crypto doesn't sleep, but for the actual stock market. So we'll be able to see crypto this weekend on a thinly traded weekend run unabated. We've got some federal, the Fed's coming out today talking about the unemployment rates and yada, yada, yada. We'll see if we have any thing about the unemployment rates. Unemployment. Let's see. So the Labor Department closely watched employment report on Friday. Also showed unemployment rate rising to 3.9% from 3.8% in March. Amid rising labor supply, nonetheless, the jobless rate remained below 4% for the 27th straight month. So the Labor Department, so what ended up coming out today is that we went from unemployment rate rose from 3.8 to 3.9%, but we were under 4% for jobless rate for the last 27 months. I mean, that doesn't really mean nothing. So U.S. jobs gained fewest in 6 months. Unemployment rate rises. So yeah, that's what's going on here right now. So just in the U.S. economy added a net 175,000 jobs in April. A solid gain, but below expectations of 250,000. Healthcare was the big sector hiring. Unemployment rate 3.9%. The unemployment rate has been below 4% for 27 months. That hasn't yeah, but see, they count things differently. So I'm not even gonna, no, that's not even worth acknowledging because they switched the way that they calculate unemployment numbers. So now basically, if I have 2 jobs, it counts as 2 different people working, which obviously you and I both know that's nonsense. But as far as the CPI is concerned, that's how they do it. But that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get in trouble. JW would say this is a good time to end it. So have a blessed morning, everybody, and I'll catch everybody later.